Okay, let's start working on notifications. So I want to have a bell icon here in the top right, and whenever the user clicks that, I want to show them their notifications for the application. Now for this app, the notifications will be the comments for the ideas. So very similar to apps like YouTube, where we have this bell icon here in the top right, and then it shows the notifications for our videos. So let's go ahead and work on that. So we'll make use of Laravel's notifications feature, which has a database driver, but in this video, we'll just focus on the styling. So I don't have a set design for this, but we'll just copy what YouTube has with the avatar on the left and some content next to it and the timestamp underneath. Okay. So let's put the bell icon next to the logout button. So that should be in our layout. So app.blade. And there should be a form here with the logout functionality. There it is. So let's put it right underneath that. So we want it within the auth directive as well, because we only want to show notifications if the user is logged in, and I'm logged in right now. So let's add it here. So let's just see if this is the right place. Bell icon. Okay. So I want it next to it. So how about we make it flex? So let's make this flex instead. Will that work? So let's put it on this container. Actually, no, we have to make a new container here. So let's put that back. And within the auth directive, we'll add a new div here. That's flex and items center. See if this works. So we'll put that in here. See if this works. Should be next to it now. Okay. And let's just put some space in between it. So space X4. Okay. So let's grab the bell icon from Heroicons. Let's look for bell or notification. Let's go with a solid one. So we'll grab the SVG here. And this is going to be a button. So let's go ahead and add a button. And let's paste that SVG in here. Okay. Let me just reformat this. And let me get rid of this. And let's see if this renders okay. Back to our app. Okay, so that looks decent. Let's just change the size of it. So I have it as height of 8 and width of 8. And let's also add a color to it. So text gray, I don't know, 500 maybe. See if that looks okay. Maybe a bit lighter, say 400. Okay, so that looks decent. So let's also add a badge on it, which shows the number of notifications in the top right. So typically it's a red badge. So let's do that here after the SVG. So let's make it a div. Let's make it absolute. Rounded full. So it's a circle. BG red. Text white. I have it as extra small text. I have it as width 6, height 6. And let's just see how that looks for now. Say 8 or whatever. And I believe I have to make the div relative. So let's say class equals relative. And let's see where that renders. Okay. Let's center the text within the circle before we position it. So let's say flex, justify center, item center. That should put it in the middle of the circle. Okay. And let's just see if it actually goes to the top right. If I do top 0, right 0. Okay. Actually, I want to put the relative class on the button instead of the div. So let's grab this. Let's put it on the button instead. Does that change anything? Okay, it doesn't. I think we have to nudge the badge over. So I'm going to use an inline style here. I'm not making use of Tailwind's just-in-time compiler yet, which makes this easier. So let's just use inline styles here. So top, say -6. And right, -6 as well. Try that. Okay, so that looks decent. Actually, let's put a border on it as well. So let's say border, we don't need these tops because we have the inline style. Border 2. Let's try that. Okay. Now let's work on the actual pop-up when we click the button. So let's do that. So I'm going to make it an unordered list underneath the button here. Actually, let me just grab something from over here, because it's going to be very similar to this. So that is an idea show. Let's look for an unordered list. And let's just grab everything here. Okay. Let's just see if it renders correctly, or somewhat correctly. And I have some variables here, which I don't need. So let me just clean some of this up. I don't need this. Let's just do one here. So we'll remove that one. Remove this. Actually, that's the only one. Let's remove the auth here. Actually, there are two. So we can get rid of this one here. And let's get rid of this. And let's see how this looks. Okay. Does it render okay? And nothing is showing. I think because we do have Xcloak on it, which hides it by default. So we'll add the Alpine in a second. Okay, so there it is over there. So I think I have to put the relative on the actual div. So I had it on the div originally, but moved it here to the button. Let's put it back there. Okay, so now it's here. So let's nudge that over a bit to the left. So again, we have to make use of an inline style here on our unordered list. Let me just reindent this. And this list item as well. So let's give it an inline style here. Just put it right here. Style equals, say, right -46 pixels. Okay. And that did not move it over. Maybe this right is taking precedence. So let's remove, actually let's remove these two. Does that fix it? Okay, so it does. So I'm going to make it a bit wider here. I'm going to add some custom width values instead of width 44, which we have for our dialogues. Let's say width 76, which I believe I don't have. Actually, there is one. So that should work. Okay, it's wider now. But I actually have it even wider for medium and above. So 96 is what I have. Is there a 96 here? Guess there is. So yeah, it's even wider on desktop. I'm going to move it down a bit. So let's give it a margin top. Actually, I'm going to move this. And I think we don't need any of these. Does that still look okay? And it looks fine, and it did move it down, so that's good. Okay, so now let's add the content for the notification. So it's just an avatar and content on the left. So let's do that in here. So it needs to be a flex container, so let's make it flex here. And the first flex item is going to be the avatar image. So let's add that. Actually, let me just paste that in because I have a default avatar here. Okay, so I pasted this in. It's just a default gravatar. And we have rounded XL and a width of 10 and a height of 10. Okay. And the next flex item is going to be the content. So let's give it a margin left of 4. And I want two items here. I want the content and I want a timestamp. So this is the content here. And this is a timestamp. So let's say 1 hour ago. Okay, let's just see if this looks okay for now. Okay, looking good. I believe everything is being bolded somewhere, which I don't want. Let's get rid of this block here since we said flex. Okay. And let's remove this semi-bold here. Okay. So for the content, let's put span here and say font semi-bold. This will be the username. So let's just put me in here and say commented on the idea name. So again, this will be a span, semi-bold. Say this is my idea. And then we can say colon, and then this will be the actual comment. So let's just wrap that in this span as well. And just add some text here. Okay. Does that look okay? Okay. So I want the text to be a bit smaller, so I'm going to add that to the UL here. Say text small or SM. Does that make it smaller? I guess it doesn't. Does that even work? Maybe it's being overwritten by... Okay, so it does work. Okay, I guess small is fine. And let's wrap the comment in quotes. So this should be in quotes. Okay. Or you can stylize that quote with like something nicer, but I'm okay with this for now. So yeah, that looks okay. Let's style the timestamp here. So I'm going to say class equals, just make it smaller. Just make it text gray 500 and let's give it a margin top. Okay. So now if I duplicate this list item a few times, so let's say 3 times or 3 more times, that looks pretty good. Now I want to give this a max height so it scrolls after it reaches a certain height. So that would be on the UL. So where's that? I have it as max height. I think I have 128. So I believe I need to add this to my Tailwind config. Say width. Sorry, I meant spacing here. Let's go into our spacing. Let's add 128. And 128 divided by 4 is 32. So 128, 32 rems. And let's go ahead and npm run dev this. And did I add that correctly? Max height 128. And let's see if this works. Oh, we also have to add an overflow Y scroll. Overflow Y. Actually, auto is fine. And it will add the scroll bars if it needs to. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Awesome. One more thing here I want to add is if the comment's too long, then I want to just add dots here. So we're already making use of that on the index page using the Tailwind CSS line clamp utility. So let's do that. So let's add more text here. Say another 20 words. I guess that doesn't work. Let me just grab this, say lorem 40. Okay, it doesn't work within quotes. Lorem 40. Okay, so this is too long. Actually, it's not bad. Let's try 100. Okay. Like I said, I just want to add a line clamp here, so if it's too long, it doesn't show everything. So all we have to do is add class equals line clamp. Let's say 6 lines max. And now it adds the dots here. Cool. And let's put the quotes back here. So that would be here and after the comment. Okay. It's not going to show the second one, I guess, which is fine. I think I want to change the text color of this. I'm not sure if it's going to change it, but I do have a text color on my project I'm referencing here. Say text gray 700 for everything. Does that make a difference? I don't think it did. That's fine. So I also want to add a mark all as red button on the bottom here. So let's do that. So after our last list item, so that would be this one, I believe. Let's add one more here, which is going to be that button. So let's give it a border top. Say border gray 300 is what I have. And let's center it. Okay. And let's make it a button actually, instead of an anchor link. Should be a button. Actually, let's make it an anchor link for now, because I just want to copy what I have here. So let's grab this first, and then we'll change it to a button. Okay. We don't need this. And let's say mark all as red. Let's close the anchor tag. And let's see if this renders okay. Okay, it's not centered, but the hover seems to be working. Let's see. Let's make it block maybe. And let's also make it bold. So font semi-bold. Center it. And it does, cool. I'm gonna get rid of the padding on the entire container. And we'll just add padding on each individual item. So where's the unordered list here? I keep losing it. So let's remove this PY3 for now. Okay. And that looks pretty good. Maybe more padding on this. So say PY4. And let's change it to a button. Hopefully that doesn't mess anything up. No more href. And let's see if this works. And it works, but it's no longer centered. So I think if I add width full, this should fix it. And it does, cool. So that looks pretty good to me. Okay. Now let's make use of Alpine to show and hide this dialog like we've been doing for these other ones here. So let's just start with the div we have up here, or the UL. Actually, let's put on the div here, so we can say, actually let's put in the front, xdata equals is open false. And then for the button, we can do at click equals is open, is not is open. And for the unordered list, let's just grab what we have in here. So it's going to be all of this stuff. Let's grab that. Actually, I already have it here. So let's put this back, xcloak. And I don't want the origin to be top left anymore. I just want it to be top. So we can get rid of the left. This is fine. This is fine. And let's see if this works. Back here should be not visible to start, but now it's visible when I click on it. And even the escape key should work, and it does. Cool. One more thing I want to clean up is the inline styles I was using. I actually don't need to use that because Tailwind actually adds the spacing utilities to the top, right, left, and bottom utilities. So we don't need this inline style. So this is for the menu we created here. So I took it off, so it should be on the left now. And we can just make use of, in this case, it's negative. So negative right, and find something that works for you. So in my case, it was 46, right? So somewhere close to 46. So 12 is good. See if that still looks okay. Okay. So this is definitely the cleaner way, but we can also add the responsive utilities to this. So let's open up DevTools here. And as you can see, it's a bit to the left. So we can nudge that over. So we can say on medium and above, negative right 12. But for mobile, we can say something bigger. So I don't know, 24. I'm just guessing here. See if that looks okay. And that looks okay, but we can kind of make it centered. Say 28 maybe? Yeah, 28 sounds good, or looks good. So yeah, you can tweak that to your liking. So let's also get rid of the inline styles we used for the badge here. So right here we have top 6 or top -6 and right -6. So let's get rid of that. Okay, and we can just make use of those utilities. So say negative top, say 1, and negative right 1. Does that work? And yeah, that still looks good. Cool. Let's make sure mobile still works. I mean desktop. And yeah, everything looks good. So as always, let's make a commit here. This is episode 59. Git add, git commit, episode 59. Say notifications, styling.